What is going on, guys? Still here. So, I've been playing Sim for the past couple of days, grinding out the F4J and the Tomcat, and unfortunately, I am now broke because Sim is a massive SL waster, pretty much no matter what you're flying, unless you are left alone in something like a Thunder Chief. But I was kind of messing around with the A10 late, trying to do some actual ground attack. Now, the relevance of this video will depend whether or not, 1, you actually play Sim, 2, you actually care about ground striking, and 3, you want to ground strike because currently Gaijin has made it so the AA's accuracy is set to a value of 1, so they're pretty much instantaneously aimbotting you no matter what you do, and because of Tracer Desync, the AA will just, they'll even shoot the ground and you'll just die. It's happened to me a couple times already. But what I learned was trying to get Mavericks to work. Instead of switching over and using the mouse, if you have a joystick that has like the VKB Gladiator, which is the one I'm using, and it has a couple of different hat switches and its own like view thumbstick, I can actually, and it has 2 functions. Like when you press it down, it like turns into a hat. When you press it down again, turn it off, it turns into like a panoramic view. And this is bound to the gunner aiming controls. Now, this is my sensitivity. This is what I would recommend. Of course, this is for the VKB. Other joysticks that have a double hat and pan, or whatever the other word is for it, kind of thumb knob for views and stuff that are secondary. Like if you actually use head tracking, you can bind this. If you don't use head tracking and you use a dedicated thumbstick for view, that's a completely different story, unfortunately. But due to the dead zone in this joystick and how War Thunder treats the input, unfortunately, I can't make super fine adjustments because it doesn't even detect the axis that slight. Like I'm pushing it all the way to the left. It doesn't. Or well, no, it's because this auto detect isn't on my bed. This is y-axis, so I'll slowly, it only, yeah, right about there. So there's a good distance between my thumb and when that is actually happening. And you gotta have relative control off for this as well, otherwise it'll just keep sliding around, and it'll be even harder to lock targets. So if I turn the sensitivity up to like 20, maybe, and I go to the Mavericks, which will actually take off now while I'm talking about this. I don't have my head tracking on right now, so I'm just going to be looking straight. But I also use the weapon selector, and this is really important. If you have head tracking and you don't have the weapon selector on and you're not selecting the Mavericks, your head will actually move the camera around freely like that. It's, you know, wherever your head moves, the camera will move. Have taken my whole load. Should have taken just the Mavericks to demonstrate this, but so when it comes to the Maverick itself, again, you need the weapon selector on, and well, there's the TWCS. So because I have those gunner views bound to an actual input, you can see now if maybe it's gonna bug out. Huh. Okay, now it seems like it's oh, there we go. Oh, maybe because I screwed up my bind there. Here, let me there we go. See? So see, now I can look down and I can actually look at this annoying asshole locking me. But yeah, so it's just a quick little video. I haven't made a video in a week because I've been working. As some of you may know, there was a massive snowstorm in New York, so kind of busy with that. Not really much time to sit down and think about what to make for a video, so I figured I'd pop this little tutorial or kind of PSA out there for you, because I'm not sure if any other sim YouTubers, which I haven't really watched many of them in a while, I'm not sure if anyone's ever really covered this or kind of discovered that this does work. Of course, it may your mileage may vary. You know, it depends on the joystick that you have. The VKB Gladiator is a great flight stick. It's I mean, it's not super cheap, but it's relatively inexpensive for a pretty high quality joystick, I would say. I have the link to my joystick in my description as always. So if you want to get into War Thunder Sim or maybe even DCS, and you want a good flight stick and you don't want to use a mouse or anything, this is the pretty damn good starter joystick for you. For this, I used a Sidewinder force feedback, and I had that for years since I was a kid. And that joystick was great in a way, but when it came to flying the A10C and the SU-27 in DCS, and then also some weird oddities with it in War Thunder, the force feedback was just it was just starting to show its age, and it was starting to, for certain planes, essentially force input of like a certain bank angle and roll, which would make some planes in DCS and in War Thunder pretty unplayable. So it was an old joystick, but it served me well as a kid. All the old flight sims I used to play. Even like there was a game that was about like the Pacific. It wasn't like Pacific Fighters or whatever. It was a really obscure name. I don't remember, but I mean, yeah, as you can see there, with relative ease, I can kind of pop these off. Now, in an actual sim match, trying to actually find targets with the Mavericks is one thing. These are the AGM-65Ds on the A10A late, and they have a bit of a different zoom, and they also have thermal, as you can see there. Their thermal resolution is about 4 times worse than what it's supposed to be, like for, you know, in real life, and also like even in like DCS, you can just go look at the thermal resolution. It shows that and the zoom is pretty much what the Maverick is supposed to be like in real life. The Maverick's not like a highly classified missile. Like, it shouldn't have been that hard for Gaijin. So I'm assuming they did it for balance reasons. But like in sim, balance for the Maverick, otherwise where it would, you know, the balance would come into play in the ground battles, is something completely different entirely, and it is really, really frustrating. So like you can't even tell what that is pretty much. So you have to have, at least with this, someone in the sim lobby, is whether a friend or a random teammate that's willing to help you, basically bait out the enemy. So, and getting the AAs to shoot at them, like flying just high enough to where they'll engage them, and you're kind of farther out. You can kind of mark which ones are which. CCRP in sim is also really broke, so you can't even set a CCRP point to keep slaving your Mavericks to. It's really annoying. If they ever add the A10C in War Thunder, there's a lot of systems for that should allow things like that to happen. I used the F5E as well, just in the past 45 minutes or so before I recorded this video in a sim lobby, and the AGM-65Bs have like either twice or 3 times the zoom of the D, but also like a worse FOV, or maybe one or the other. And they move a little bit slower. Of course, I put my sensitivity to 20, but when you're trying to lock things in a real match, and there's obstructions like trees and buildings and stuff like that, the preciseness that is required in order to actually utilize the Mavericks is, you know, it requires it to be a little slower. I might keep experimenting with the 20%, but I didn't really enjoy it last time I was messing around with that sensitivity. But the Mavs are always going to slave like right to your center of your HUD. It would be really nice if we could use the Mavericks in the TV view there. I don't even have my free look, but the little box on the bottom right, it would be nice if I could use them from the cockpit, so I don't have to switch to that really disorienting view that doesn't even really tell you how you're flying, because the A10's lace system isn't even modeled. It doesn't even have automatic leveling, which is very annoying. But yeah, I mean, that's pretty much it for me today. I just figured I'd just pop a little video out, and something interesting I found in War Thunder that I didn't actually think would work before. So I will just leave you with hopefully butter landing, but I really doubt it because I'm flying like a maniac here. Butter. Butter landing. I've had better though. Anyways, guys, thank you so much for watching. I hope this helps some of you out there that have joysticks or whatever control configuration you prefer. If it helps, it helps. I might even bind it to my my mouse keys, but I have a HOTAS setup, so you know it's a bit different there with having a throttle and a stick. But yeah, Anyways, thank you so much for watching. As always, I'm still Wolf, and I'll see you guys next time.